107 FM Ilorin. This is news in the hour.
In the headlines, presidency withdraws Dakangri's posting as the Turkey's ambassadors designate. The Federal Capital Territory Ministry minister drags FCTA workers to court over strikes. The National Judicial Council recommends 14 Federal High Court judges candidates. Plateau governor condemns the fresh killings in the state. And on the foreign scene, Japan Prime Minister dissolves a parliament head of snap election. And moving on to the water sport, Nigerian Women Football League postponed 2025-2026 season. Good afternoon and thanks for joining us for the news on the hour. A Diamond 887 FM, Ilorin, Kwara State, Nigeria. We'll bring you details of the news after the short break. Please, we'll be right back.
We often think that mental health breakdowns sound like this.
I'm emotionally stressed. I'm emotionally downcast. I am so confused of all about life.
But in reality, they can sound like this. Don't make assumptions that people are okay just because they laugh and they smile. Everyone is going through something. Check on your friends and be kind to everyone else.
This message is reaching you from Diamond 88.7 FM, Ilorin.
Welcome back from that short break. Please do note that you can listen to us via our website www.diamondfm.net or watch us live on Facebook at Diamond 887 FM in Ilorin, Kwara State, and on YouTube Diamond 887 FM. I am Precious Afolabi. Now the news in detail. The presidency has withdraws the posting of former Kebbi State Governor Usman Dakingari as ambassador designated to Turkey. The special advisor to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on information and strategy, Bayo Ononuga, made his notes today in a statement. The statement said that no ambassador has been appointed to Turkey. This development came a few hours after the presidency made the announcement of the ambassadorial posting. Usman Isa Dakingari's Suleiman, former governor of the Kebbi State, was announced in the earlier statement as the ambassador designated to Turkey, where the president is scheduled to begin a state visit next week. However, the presidency omitted Dakingari's now rescinded appointment without giving a reason for the change. The Federal Capital FCT Minister Nyesom Wike has filed an order challenging the ongoing strike by workers of the Federal Capital Territory Administration, FCTA. The lawsuit was filed before the National Industrial Court. The Joint Union Actions Committee, JUAC, has commenced an indefinite industrial actions following the expirations of the 7 days ultimatum, leading to the shutdown of the major government offices, including the Federal Capital Territory Administration, the FCTA Secretariat. In response, court filing indicates that Nyesom Wike and the FCTA have approached the National Industrial Court in Abuja, seeking an order to restrain the union from picketing, blocking offices, or disrupting officials' activities. Notwithstanding, the legal union, JUAC, has maintained its stance, vowing to continue to strike. The union insists that workers' demand have yet to be addressed. The National Judicial Council has recommended 14 candidates to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for appointment as judges of the Federal High Court. In a statement by the Deputy Director of Information at the NJC, Kemi Ogedengbe, said the recommendations was made during the cancelled 110th meeting held from January 13th to 14th, 2026, and presided over by the Honorable Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Kudirat Kekere-Ekun. Ogedengbe said that 14 candidates were cleared and recommended to the President for approval after a security report indicated that there were no adverse comments on any of them. Recalls that in the past week, the NJC had similarly recommended the presiding justice of the Court of Appeal, Enugu Division, Justice Joseph Oyewale, for appointment as the Justice of the Supreme Court, alongside 35 others for various judicial offices nationwide. And coming on to the Kwara State Governor, Abdullahi Sule has approved the appointment of the 8 strengthened efficiency and to approve the service delivery. I'll take that again. Nasarawa State Governor Abdullahi Sule has approved the appointment of the 8 new permanent secretaries into the state public service as a part of the efforts to strengthen efficiency and improve service delivery. The approval was conveyed in a press release issued by the head of the civil servants, Abigail Waya, and the appointments were aimed at reinvigorating the public service and enhancing administrative effectiveness across ministry and departments. And according to the statement, the appointees were selected based on the merit and experience to further strengthen governance and ensure efficiency policy implementation in the state. The head of civil servants added that the swearing in the ceremony of the new permanent secretaries will be held at the later date to be announced by the state government. Governor Caleb Mutswang of Plateau State has expressed outrage over recent attack in some communities in Jos South local government area, which led to the loss of several lives, describing them as a cruel and unacceptable assault on innocent citizens. In a message of sympathy to the affected families and communities signed by his Director of Press and Public Affairs, Gang Bere, Governor Mutswang describes the attack as a senseless act of terror that runs contrary to the values of humanity and peaceful coexistence cherished by the people of Plateau State. The governor lamented the attack on the mining site in Kuru district, where lives were lost, as well as similar violent incidents in Gai as Buhut communities of the Chungwa district of the local government. He said that the killings were particularly painful at the time when concerted efforts are being made to consolidate peace and stability across the state. Without prayer for late Alhaji Zakaria Ibrahim Maimasa, we hold tomorrow in Ilorin, the Kwara State capital. This was disclosed in a statement released by the family. And according to the statement, the Fidal prayer will hold tomorrow, January 24, 2026, at the house of the deceased beside Oniru Mosque, Federal Housing Estate, Oloje Phase 2 by 10 a.m. The late Alhaji Zakaria Ibrahim, who died at the age of 67, is survived by his wife, children, and relatives. The news is reaching you from Diamond 887 FM in Lorry. We're going on a break now. When we return, we'll bring you foreign and sport news. Please stay with us.
On social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Diamond 887 FM. Diamond FM, shining supreme.
Welcome back from that short break. You're still listening to the news on the hour, reaching from Diamond 887 FM, Ilorin, Kwara State, Nigeria. Now we'll move to the foreign scene. From the foreign scene today, Japanese Prime Minister Sanya Tangchachi has disclosed Parliament ahead of a snap election on February 8. The country's first women premier is counting on our cabinet high ports as the ruling coalitions of Tatachi Library Democracy Party (LDP) and the Japan Innovations Party (JIP) has only slim majority in its powerful law chambers. Tatachi is hoping widespread support for our cabinet would hold to deliver a stronger mandate, even though the LDP itself is battling no approval rating and staring off the scandals. If elected, Takahashi has pledged to court a sales tax on food for 2 years period to alleviate the burden on people struggling with inflation. Opposition parties are also calling for the tax relief. And still on the foreign scene, Russia, Ukraine, and United States negotiators are heading to Abu Dhabi today for the first tribal talks since Russia full-scale invasions in February 2022. These talks are crunch times for Ukraine and a chance to see whether Moscow is really serious about peace or just playing games. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says the talk are a step hopeful towards ending the war, adding the meeting will focus on status of Ukraine's eastern Donbas region. As the World Economic Forum in the Davos, Zelensky said he had reached an agreement with Trump on future U.S. security guarantees for Ukraine in the event of that deal. And it comes after Russian President Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump's envoy holds that the Kremlin called useful but very frank talks in with the Moscow. Now moving on to the world of sport. And on the world of sport, the Nigerian Women Football League, NWFL, has announced the temporary suspensions of the ongoing 2025-2026 league season as the decision was reached following a petition to the Nigerian Football Federation (NFF) by one of the club affected by the ongoing under-20 national team camp, as the club has seen more than 5 of its players called out, thereby compromising its ability to compete fairly. The NWFL stated this in a memo signed by the Chief Operations Officer Modupe Shabi and sent to all participating clubs that the NWCFL is expected to resume on Wednesday, 18th February 2026. Still in the world of sport, the Federations of African Football (CAF) is expected to announce the decisions on the disciplinary cases involving Morocco and Senegal before next Tuesday, following the disturbances that marred the final of the 2025 African Cup of Nations. And according to the information gathered, CAF's disciplinary committee is working under the strict timeline, with a verdict on Senegal case possibly reached without the next 48 hours. The Continental Football Governing Body is keen to conclude the matter promptly in order to preserve the integrity of the competitions and enforce its regulations. Top CAF decisions makers are said to be closely involved in the process, underscoring the seriousness with which the incident is being treated. And with that, we have come to the end of the news on the hour. But before we go, here's the recap of the major highlights. Presidency withdraws Dakin Gaddis posting as Turkey's ambassador designate. Federal Capital Territory Minister drags FCTA workers to court over strike. National Judicial Council recommends 14 Federal High Court judges candidate. Plateau governor condemns fresh killings in the state. And on the foreign scene, Japan Prime Minister dissolves the parliament head of a snapped election. Nigeria Women Football League postponed 2025-2026 season. Now, do you know segment on this day? Do you know on this day, 1962, Stephen Okechukwu Keshi, late Nigerian footballer and Super Eagles coach, was born in Azari, Bauchi State. If you don't know, now you know. For more information or happenings around you, kindly contact Diamond FM Newsroom on this number, 0916 0627 526. The news on the hour was edited by Biodun Akiomi, and I am Precious Afolabi. Many thanks for listening to Shining Supreme Stations. Please don't forget that the Yoruba version of the news will be coming briefly.